Hey everybody and welcome. It's Monday night. We are here for the 11th episode of the Premodern Showdown series. I am Michael Hoyp. I'm joined here tonight with Flint Espel. Say hi, Flint.
Hey, everybody.
And on screen you can see the schedule for the players that... No, this is not updated. Hold on. Let me adjust this real quick. Tonight we are starting off with Robin versus Ron. And then later tonight we have Mike against Andrew. Let me adjust where this is pulling from. If I could find it. All right. And here we go. Okay, so yes, Robin is playing Ron Taylor for our first match, and then Mike against Andrew for our second match. So we are going to jump over to our deck lists. We're going to quickly talk about what is available to these two players. You probably have seen these decks multiple times, so we're going to go over them briefly. Full English Breakfast is a combo deck that revolves around Survival of the Fittest and Volra Shapeshifter. It can do a lot of cool things. We saw it last week, and a lot of interesting things can happen from different board states. So it's a fun one to watch. It's a difficult one to play, but it's pretty rewarding with the right pilot. So the Rock is the classic green-black control deck. Just has some mana ramp, some hand disruption, and then some board presence with creatures. It's a very solid, close to like a 50-50 deck. So it gives you the play in the matchup, so you're not going to be really disadvantaged, and you're never going to have landslide matches that are really easy. And then Zombies is the last deck. So this tribal deck is looking to play a bunch of creatures. It can't of the zombie type, and then can have the Lord with Lord of the Undead, and then it has some cool synergies with cycling creatures with Gem Palm Polluter, and then can get them back with Lord of the Undead. And other than that, it's just a quick aggressive deck with a little bit of disruption. All right, Flint, I'm going to bring up the lists for Ron, and the first deck is his Landstill deck. Would you like to talk about that one?
Sure. Classic blue-white control deck, slowing things down and drawing cards with Standstill, cycling Decrees, and also winning with Factories.
And then the second deck available to Ron is his Reanimator deck.
Pretty standard combo, trying to get a real big fatty from the yard into play as fast as possible. It can happen as fast as turn 1, usually turn 2. Ron's deck uses Worldly Tutor, which is a nice spin on it, but it should be interesting to watch if he decides to play it.
And then Stasis. We know Flint really likes this one, so.
I give Stasis players a hard time, but it actually is an interesting deck to play. It's just not fun to play against. Basically looking to stop your untap step and use a lot of free counter magic and cards to return islands to your hand, as well as Forsaken City to lock the game out and kill with Black Vice.
Okay, so we're going to jump over to our ban screen, and Flint and I are going to make some predictions on what the players are going to ban from their opponents, and then we're going to predict what they're going to play. So if you're Robin, you're looking at Ron's 3 decks. of Landstill, Reanimator, and Stasis. Which one are you thinking you're going to ban?
So I have a confession to make.
Mm-hmm.
We moved over the weekend and I've been working all day and putting away stuff, so I didn't have too much time to look at these lists. But I'm just
Okay.
going to go gut reaction. I'm going to say, if I'm Robin, I'm going to ban Stasis because
Okay.
it's just not fun to play against. And admittedly, it's a pretty powerful deck with a lot of disruption for Robin strategies.
Yep, I'm actually going to agree here. That's it's like I said. I think the Landstill and the Stasis decks are actually really similar. They're, in terms of when you play against it, they're just control decks, and just the way they win is a little bit different. And I don't know. I think the Stasis deck is actually really underrepresented in the pre-modern community. Maybe that's a good thing for some people because it's a lot of opponents don't enjoy playing against it. But I think it's very consistent and very powerful. I
Forsaken City is a real expensive card, so
so
it's a hard deck to build, right?
yeah, yeah. It's actually I think it might be just like the cheapest pre-modern deck. It's definitely one of like decks
It's
that
got
are
to
very
be.
good. It is very cheap. Okay, so if you are Ron, what are you gonna ban from Robin?
I think it's a toss-up between the Rock and English Breakfast. But I think if Stasis is banned and I'm gonna run Reanimator or Landstill, I'm probably more afraid of, oh God, full English Breakfast. So
Yep.
I think that's probably the deck that I would ban.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. So
Oh, all right.
if I am Ron, I am gonna ban full English breakfast, and I think I'm gonna bring Reanimator. I think Reanimator is it's probably advantage against zombies. I would think because if you're able to put something into play, then I think you probably have a good handle. There's almost no removal in Robin's zombie deck. And the rock deck actually, if the creature gets in play, then it actually is pretty difficult for it to remove. I think with Robin's list, I don't think there's that many. Like Diabolic Edicts is usually the best card, and
Mhm.
it's not necessarily the most played in the rock. And it's not available to Robin, at least not in the main deck if I can remember. And so I think Ron's gonna take. I think he's gonna ban Full English Breakfast and bring Reanimator. Do you think he's gonna? If let's say Stasis is banned, well, let's pretend here that Stasis is banned and Full English Breakfast is banned. Would you bring Reanimator or would you bring Landstill for Ron? I mean, I
I would
guess like
probably bring Reanimator.
okay,
I think it's hard for the Rock to deal with it. You're right. Like once it's on the battlefield, Robin really has to interact with his hand and get rid of his reanimation spells. And then full English breakfast, unless he has like a god draw, um, it's going to be a race, right? And I think Reanimator might have the edge in
mm,
terms of speed if it's not disrupted at all.
yeah. So if you're Robin, what do you think you're gonna bring? Well,
If I'm a
we're
Robin,
saying that Full English Breakfast is banned. What do you think you want to bring to the table?
oh, I probably want to bring the Rock.
I agree. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it. I think the zombie deck. It might be a little bit better against Landstill than the Rock, but not by that much. But I think it's worse against the Reanimator deck. So I think the Rock is just a more consistent choice. All right, enough talk of this. Let's jump over to our play screen. You can let the players know that they're able to start. And once we get started, I will update their information with their deck. But in the meantime, let's figure out what our opponents are playing. We
All
see,
right, all right, all right.
yes, we see an undiscovered paradise. So what does that mean,
That's
Flint?
Reanimator.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. First turn, careful study, pretty good. Will we see a follow-up Lotus Petal and a Reanimate? We see a Chroma in the bin and another card. I can't make out what it is.
Yeah, I didn't see. It looks black, but I don't know what it is.
My Arnold wants a play-by-play of my move if Ron's on stasis. Well, fortunately for you and the viewers, that's not going to happen. We're going to get to see something very interesting, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna update these. Well, I'm gonna update Ron's deck name. So let's
I think
get
Robin might be on zombies.
okay. The Robin zombies. Uh, Dark Ritual. That's Dark Ritual, right? Yep. So yes, he's on zombies. That's only in his zombies list.
Is it the Mirage Dark Ritual?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I think that's my favorite.
It might be mine as well.
Well, I mean, I guess if I had beta ones, I would play beta ones over it, but I don't. So
I think the art in the Mirage one is cooler than the beta.
okay.
But I agree, it's pretty badass to to play a beta Dark Ritual.
Yeah.
So I would probably play those as well. All right, so Withered Wretch and Nukes Acroma. Wow, strong first turn play. That's pretty much the best opener he could hope for.
Yeah, I guess that's something we didn't talk about at all in terms of the pregame, in terms of how the zombie deck interacts with Reanimator with Withered Wretch. So let's bring that guy up. And
so Dark Ritual from Ron. Ron says, "Hey, I can do this too, but I'm going to play there's a Saga one,
okay.
Which is your least favorite one, right?"
No, I do like that. I don't like the Tempest one. I think
the Tempest one.
So,
That's Mike Arnold's favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Uh-oh.
I do want to hear from the chat, like, what is everyone's favorite Dark Ritual art? Because they're all good. I mean, I don't like the Tempest one, but...
You know what that is in his graveyard? It's Visara the Dreadful.
Okay.
So he's casting Exhume.
So yeah, he's got a window where the Withered Wretch isn't able to activate, and the Visara, the Dreadful, and
a foil one, no less.
This coming into play is actually pretty troublesome for Robin, because we talked about him not really having any way to remove a creature with a zombie deck, and he can either just attack for 5 every turn and put him on a 4-turn clock, or if things get a little bit overwhelming, like with Lord of the Undead or something, then he can just use it to tap and destroy a creature. I think just given this board state, I think he's just going to end up attacking 4 times. But we see him casting Cabal Therapy. Looks like the card revealed, I think it's 2 Lord of the Undeads, a Gem Palm Polluter, a Carnophage, and a Cabal Therapy.
Was it 2 Cabal Therapies?
No, one was a Carnophage, I believe.
Got it. Okay.
I thought that at first, but I think one was a Carnophage. So it didn't look like he hit. I'm trying to think from that position, what would I be naming? I don't know.
I don't know against zombies. I like the chat here. So Mike Harris says he always thought the Tempest Dark Ritual was the Undertaker, circa 97.
Okay.
I could totally see that. Ice Age gets bonus points if you turn 1 Necro it. Hell yeah.
Sure.
That's the Ned Flanders Dark Ritual. And then Andrew Walker likes Ice Age for nostalgia, but he's got to flex a little bit and talk about assigned alphas and betas.
Okay.
Yeah. Ice Age is also Tim the Enchanter. I like Tim the Enchanter. I always thought it was Ned Flanders, but Tim the Enchanter, absolutely.
So no one has said Mercadian Masks?
Mike Arnold says Mercadian Masks is the worst.
The worst?
That's his least favorite.
Well. Okay. So a Carnophage comes down, and then the Withered Wretch does not attack. And then Ron is attacking with a Visara and then adds a Putrid Imp. So here, okay, so he would pay 1 life for the Carnophage to stay untapped, and then he plays the Lord of the Undead. So now his zombies are 3/3s. The Undead. So that...
Chat says Robin's misplay was losing the die roll here.
So interesting. So because Ron knew about 2 Lord of the Undeads in his hand, and this Putrid Imp came down, and he didn't flash back the Cabal Therapy, right?
Correct.
That seems unusual. Like, what do you want the Putrid Imp for? I mean, it might get to the point where it's going to be able to, like, increase the clock 1 turn, but it seems really interesting. Also to note, Ron did not attack with the Visara.
Yep.
So he's probably going to be this gives him the option to, if Robin is attacking, Ron's able to block and then kill the active
non-summoning sick. Yeah, the non-summoning sick.
He's tapped out, so it probably doesn't matter, but yeah. And then he could untap and, I mean,
kill the other one.
He could probably not even kill, because if Robin's spending his whole turn putting like a card, like a Lord of the Lord of the Undead back on top of his library. I think Ron's actually probably okay with that.
All right, here comes the crew.
So this doesn't is not going to get that much damage through. He's probably going to block the
block the withered wretch.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you could block the Lord of the Undead and no, because then you take a little more damage. Wait.
Did he kill the?
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Yes. So a 2/2 Carnophage gets through.
3/3, right?
Well, oh yeah, there is
Isn't
another
there a
Lord.
second Lord?
Yes.
Yeah. So Ron's at 9.
Wait, how many times?
No.
I thought that was the first damage he's taken. Did he attack maybe once with the Withered Wretch? And I don't know how many times that City Breast has been tapped, but I see 13 from. I see 13 for. Is that Ron at 13 and Robin at 9? I think that's what we're at. We're way off.
I've been slacking.
Okay.
Apologies, chat. Apologies. Slacking as usual.
Oh, yeah, for some reason I thought Lord of the Undead put it on top of your library. But it does go to your hand.
So there's the Acroma.
That's getting discarded to a Putrid Imp, and are there 7? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 cards, I think, in the graveyard right now. Oh, this is getting exhumed. Oh.
Yep.
Well, what's better, Lord of the Undead or Acroma?
This is tough.
I think Ron got the better end of the deal. Though, I mean, like...
He's just swinging in the air for the win.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right. Game 2.
Cool.
All right. Let's look at the sideboards.
Yes. So I have the Reanimator deck. Ooh. Does Oath of Druids come into play here? I mean, probably. I guess here, let's jump over to the zombie deck because it probably matters more in terms of how Robin's going to react, because I feel like everything that stays the same. I kind of like Ron's position. But, okay, so there's 2 Tormod's Crypts. Those are for sure coming in. Cabal Therapy is reasonable. It's decent, not great. Perish would destroy Phantom Neshoba and Multani if it came in a Symbiotic Worm. I mean, it's okay against Symbiotic Worm. Oath of Ghouls is a reasonable card. I mean, I guess you probably just don't expect your creatures to be dying that much. Are there any bad cards from his main deck?
In Robin's?
Yeah. Is Tombstone Stairwell either too slow, or is he afraid of it, like, giving Ron too many creatures? I don't know.
I don't think he's afraid of giving Ron's creatures. I think it's just whether or not it's too slow.
Sure. Is
the bigger question. What about Carrion Feeder? Is Carrion Feeder any good here? He's not really going to probably... Well...
does it do anything cool? And I mean, sometimes you get a free counter if he's exhuming and you just have a creature to put into play, but I guess that's about as exciting as it gets. It's never really getting to the point where it's probably becoming too big of a threat. So yeah, it's not that exciting. But I don't know. I don't know exactly the cards that he would want to take out, but definitely 2 Tormod's Crypt. And I mean, Cabal Therapy is fine, but not great. The copies of Cabal Therapy might be better than Duress, but maybe not. I guess it's hard because the Reanimator deck does have some redundancy, so sometimes you're just going to miss with Cabal Therapy.
Yeah. I mean, I think Duress is better here than Cabal Therapy.
So I'm back up to Ron's deck. There is... Okay, wait. What is Ascendant?
Evansar?
Yeah, is that non-black creatures or black?
It's a 3/3 flying for like 5 or 6, and non-black creatures get -1/-1,
so
and black creatures get +1/+1.
So definitely not coming in this matchup. Okay.
No. It's Krovax.
Yes. I think the Oath of Druids are coming in.
That's fair.
And typically when you do that, your Putrid Imps come out. 'cause those don't play that well together. Um, Phantom Neshoba is decent. I don't know if Powder Keg is good enough because it's a little slow, and like the zombies deck has, I guess the biggest threats are on three, right? Rotling Reanimator, Lord of the Undead.
Mm.
But other than that, it's kind of spaced out. Like you're never super excited about what number that Powder Keg is on. So I don't
I
know if I
might
bring those in.
I might take out a Multani and put in a Neshoba,
Sure.
and then
Um,
take out the Imps and put in the Oath of Druids.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that makes sense. So do you think post board one player is favored over the other?
I don't know. I mean, I I played against Robin. I don't know, like 4 or 5 months ago against zombies. Is when we were playing Mana Flare Storm,
Mm-hmm.
and he killed me on like the fourth turn
Okay.
with zombies. Like he raced me and not Rolling, but Shepherd Rotted and then Gem Palm me into oblivion like really fast. So I think if Robin has a really good draw, he can actually race Ron, given that Robin's on the play. But I think Ron has a more consistent deck in terms of being able to race. So I do think that Ron is still favored.
Yeah, I agree. I think things have to either go very well for Robin or things have to go poorly for Ron for Robin to win. I don't feel like it's super unlikely for Robin to win, but I think Ron is definitely favored.
Yeah, I think Robin could win, but yeah, I do think Ron is favored here.
Because
I'd like to see the little brain eaters pull it out.
even the times where you have like a somewhat decent clock and then a little bit of disruption, the might slow down the reanimator a turn or two, but it still can turn things around pretty quickly.
Hmm.
And if like a Chroma is in play, it's pretty difficult for the zombies deck.
Looks like they're both taking a mulligan here. So Dry Cereal says zombies can't beat a reanimated creature, so the only option is to stop it so therapy feels good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the first part for sure. The second part is the therapy is just hard because it's like, are you naming a reanimate? Are you naming exhume? I mean, naming the creature doesn't do anything, so it's kind of
Animate
like,
dead.
yeah, are you naming animate dead? Are you naming oath of druids? Like, it's there are redundant pieces in terms of what Ron can do. So obviously you have creatures to flash it back, but um,
Turn
I think
one,
it's
Dark Ritual, Carrion Feeder, Duress, Cabal Therapy. Thanks, Nightbot.
yes. He
Michael,
did you see he timed you out earlier?
I did. I
Earlier?
have a bone to pick with him. You need to tell him that I have carte blanche when it comes to emotes.
I can probably do that in between games. So I won't mess with it now, but
Excellent. Excellent.
maybe you have to bribe the Nightbot.
Ah. Yeah, I agree, J Amelia. Four Withered Wretch and Tormod's out of the board does seem good. It's just he's got to have the turn one Tormod script.
Well, also,
Uh,
yeah, like the thing with Withered Wretch is Ron could just not discard anything until the turn he wants to go off because his spells are like pretty cheap. Like it's like careful studies and whatnot, and his deck does have rituals and lotus petals. So I mean, I don't think Putrid Imp's in the deck anymore if he's bringing in Oath of Druids. But like you could just not discard the creature, and if Robin ever taps out, that's when you go for the reanimation plan. So Withered Wretch, I mean, it is good. Don't get me wrong, but like it's
or
something Ron could
Oath
play
just
around. Yeah,
or Oath just blanks it all together. And Dry Cereal, I don't disagree. I do think that, with zombies, you are well equipped to flashback Cabal Therapy, and it's great with duress. Um, the only and perhaps you're right. Maybe you board out two Rotling reanimators and put in the two therapies. Um, but it just seems like there's so many different scenarios Robin has to account for, whereas all Ron has to do is just jam a turn one creature or a turn two creature.
I think if I were in the dark, I might just want to name Oath of Druids with the Cabal Therapy as compared to Reanimate, or a different reanimation spell, because that's the hardest card for you to answer. Um,
Boom.
but
Turn 1 crypt. So
okay.
that's great. And Ron Mulligan down to what, 4? So that's great. Will we see a turn 1 oath here?
So one thing I did not mention. Okay, yes.
Of course.
Um, when I was talking about Powder Keg, I forgot to mention the interaction it has with Tormod's Crypt. It's a good answer for the Reanimator deck to use against Tormod's Crypt. Well, it like in
That's
other
true.
situations where it can do other stuff. So those I guess I was not very high in them to begin with, but it might be a card that Ron brought in to deal with Tormod's Crypt.
Totally fair. So Robin goes down to 19 to pay for the Carnophage. Ron activates Oath here and gets a Petrodon. Or
Yeah.
is that right? Petrodon?
I know we
Is that
talked
what
about
that
this
thing is
last time.
called?
Yes, I
I
think.
think it's Petrodon.
Yes. I just won't have to say the name until it's up, and that way I don't have to be wrong.
Wait for it.
Yes.
Wait for
Petrodon.
it.
The good old
Excellent.
Nightmare Beast.
Good old Nightmare Beast.
So
So he's doing again. He's going again.
wait, what happened with that Petrodon?
He took 2 of Robin's Swamps out of play.
Oh,
And
so it got
then,
oathed into play, and so this is the
yeah,
second time he's oathed
then
already. Oh, I didn't
second
realize that.
oath gets Visara.
Okay, I didn't realize that we had gone that many turns. Sorry. Okay, so the good old red creature's coming in. And did he already take? No. He's at. Robin's at 18? 18 to 14, is that what I see?
Yeah, it looks like he just, did he take the hit?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, he's taking it now. 14. So Robin goes to 14.
So they're both at 14?
I don't,
Maybe I have. Maybe Ron's at 16.
I
Maybe.
think Ron's at 8. Ron's at 16.
Okay, I was thinking the white dice was Robin. Okay. So, what does zombies do from this position? I don't think it could really do anything. Like with Oath in play, it's like very difficult. Here's
Yeah,
you
Robin's in a
might
tough
want
spot.
carrion feeder from this spot, just to like keep oathing up and make your carrion feeder bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you only have so many turns, obviously, but
Yeah,
this is rough.
yeah. So he's attacking for 10. It looks like it's all been taken.
Cabal Therapy here. So the moral of the story here, folks, is if you're playing Reanimator, you just mulligan real aggressively to get that oath.
Cabal Therapy was played. Didn't look like he hit. I don't know what card you're really worried about from this position. It's probably like Gem Palm Polluter is like the only weird way you could win or lose. But I don't even think there's enough turns for that to
That's
happen.
game.
Yeah.
All right,
so
Robin scoops it up. I'm
No.
gonna have them unmute.
that was a smashing. Smashy with the Reanimator deck. Alright, let's go over to this screen. We'll tune into the players here if we can get any thoughts from them.
Horrible.
Alright, that's fair. But
It had
Oath,
nothing to do with Oath.
Oath is the best card against me, so it's like if you multi Oath, I basically cannot win. Unless I have a discard spell, right? I guess we should unmute them, right?
Hey
I'm
guys,
unmuted.
can you hear us?
Oh, I
I
haven't
can
done
hear
that.
you.
Hey
I
Ron,
haven't unmuted them.
congrats.
Thank you very
now
much.
I've unmuted Flint, and now I've unmuted.
Alright.
Michael.
Alright, well that second game was a little bit brutal, but
Okay.
No. You don't know what brutal was because you don't know what I did. It was worse than that. I mean, so there were 3 puns here. The first one was, as always, with me banning the wrong deck. I should have banned Reanimator because the thing is, I banned Stasis because Ron and I have a feud about Stasis. He loves Stasis, I hate Stasis. And I have a streak going where I have played 0 games against Stasis in Premodern, and I I intended to keep the streak going.
Then how do you know that you don't like Stasis?
I mean, I've seen the deck, and that was enough.
All right.
I judged the book by its cover there.
Sure.
He's heard all the horror stories.
Yeah.
It contains the card Stasis.
Yeah. So that was step one. I should have banned that and played Zombies because it has a great blue-white matchup and it's probably decent enough against Stasis. Pump 2 was a little bit sadder. It was game 1 here. You saw me play Wretch into removing a Chroma.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a Cabal Therapy in hand, I had a Wretch, and I had a Carnifex. And in my head, and I'm gonna blame myself, but it's because, you know, webcam games, you get a little less attentive of the board state. So I removed it, and then he cast Exhume, and I go, oh, you have another creature in there? Because I had totally missed that he pitched to, and he said I'm pitching Visara, Chroma, blah blah, but I totally banked on it. So if I had cast Cabal Therapy, I would have seen his hand. It had 2 Exhumes. I would have played a Carnifex and flashed it back, and that would have been a lot better.
Sure.
So that was a big punt. I would probably have won that game, but game 2 in this matchup is almost sad because Oath is such a good card against me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I did also punt because I mulled a 7 that had a Ritual, a Duress, and a Shepherd, but then like only 1 land. And I kept my second hand at the back of a Crypt when I know that Oath is the best card against me, so that was a little sketchy of a mull too. But it's not a great matchup by any means.
Yeah, I think that the post-board games are really interesting or like difficult for you because it's kind of like the cards that you interact with are kind of, they're okay, they're not great because they're hand disruption cards. You can still draw another reanimation spell. I guess your best card, the combination of your cards of like Withered Wretch and hand disruption can win, but it's kind of like, if you are prepared for disrupting his graveyard and he just goes Oath, then you just can't do anything, and your game is like very heavily relying on having creatures in play. So
yeah, absolutely. The version of Zombies that I played in a monthly, I played it August monthly. It has 3 Snuff Out, I think, in the sideboard, which is something I don't have in the PSS list.
mm-hmm.
So it has a little better matchup because I realized, because of PSS, how horrible it is to play Zombies in a metagame with Reanimator, no flying around. It's just in play, like it doesn't work if you don't have any removal spells in your sideboard.
Yeah, I mean, even if you had Snuff Out, I mean, the most standard Reanimator lists, like Ron is a little non-standard with the Worldly Tutor package. I mean, most of them have like 4 Chroma, and that's what they're looking to reanimate, and like that's pretty tough. Like you can't Snuff Out that. So it's
that's just a hit you gotta take. I mean, you can play Edict if you want, but Snuff Out is just such a better card in other matchups. And most Oath decks go get Nishobas, which also is almost impossible to win.
Sure.
So I do think it's a better sideboard card overall. I know some people have played Edict, but I prefer Snuff Out.
Fair enough. I was telling Michael that Zombies can win fast. Like when you killed me on turn 4 in the monthly, I think, was Shepherd of Rot and Gem Palm. And so, we were thinking if you could race, if you could get that hand, you could race Ron. But if he drops a quick, Oath, or if you don't have the Crypt, then you're not favored at all in this matchup, unfortunately.
I mean, in game 1 there, even though I punted with the Wretch play, I was, I guess, 1 turn from beating down the other way around. Like, he had a Therapy in his yard, like he pointed out, and he could, because I had a Gem Palm in hand, so I could have dealt 3 and then swung for a bunch. So it was still, and that was against a Reanimator hand that kept 7. I hate when Reanimator keeps their 7, because then it's bad. That's a deck that usually like mulls to 4 and then wins anyway. So when they keep a 7, you're like, oh shit, that's like
feels real
everything.
bad.
Yeah, that's not great. Not a good feeling.
My game 1 keep was actually a little bit sketchy. I only had the Undiscovered Paradise, which obviously returns to my hand. That was my only land. And then I had the Careful Study, a Chroma, and then an Exhume and an Animate Dead.
Okay.
So I needed the extra mana source. And I got real lucky on my Careful Study. I hit the Visara and a second Exhume. So his Cabal Therapy would have really wrecked me if he would have named Exhume. But on turn 2 is when I top decked the Dark Ritual to be able to cast the Exhume that turn.
Yeah, I mean, even from that position, you still have Rituals, Lotus Petal, or Reanimate to draw. I mean, to reanimate that next turn. And then otherwise you could just, if you draw a land, then 2 turns later you can get a creature.
I was telling somebody earlier today in the Discord that if you're not going all in with Reanimator, there's a good chance you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, so my thinking was, because I didn't realize the Visara, so my thinking was, because he has to bring the Undiscovered Paradise back, he needs to basically play land, Ritual, Putrid Imp, Exhume or something insane, or like land, Pedal, Putrid Imp, Reanimate, have those exact cards to have the turn 2 reanimation there. So that was my thinking, but obviously I did not see the Visara, so that changed things a bit.
Yeah.
We didn't recognize it in the graveyard either, and so we were
It's
like,
a
wow.
Stupid
Yeah, we're like,
drum.
that is amazing. Robin like has a shot here, and then it was like,
See,
oh
I thought I
god,
had a
it's a
shot too.
Visara. It's a Visara.
I saw the Dark Reign. I thought it was a beta Animate Dead is what I thought it was, but I wasn't sure.
So the foil is not only pimp, it's also Skype tech. Make them not see what it is. It's all glare. No. I'm kidding. Ron clearly stated the name of the cards when he cast Careful Study. So I 100% that is on me.
So Ron, what was your thought process in terms of coming into the match, what you banned, and how you ended up picking Reanimator?
So I banned Full English Breakfast with the specific intent of wanting to play Reanimator. And I knew how much Robin absolutely hated Stasis, so I almost was guaranteed that was the deck he was going to ban. So I figured I banned Full English Breakfast. That gives me a favorable matchup against both of his other decks with Reanimator. So that was my thought process there.
That was a good call. I don't think you've posted about Stasis on Facebook or Discord ever without me within an hour being there and saying something negative.
Boo. Boo.
But that's the game that I play. I make you hate Stasis so much that I force you to ban it, so I have favorable matchups with my other deck.
Yeah, it's good tech. No, I was talking to Jared and I was like, I shouldn't have banned Stasis. That was just a hate ban. I should 100% ban Reanimator. Have you played against The Rock with Reanimator? Because I am clueless about that matchup. That just felt even worse because it's so slow. I don't know. I give you too much time.
Yeah, it's pretty favorable for Reanimator against The Rock. Really, the only removal you play is Pernicious Deed, and that's really
Deadus, but they don't hit a lot of the cards in your deck. They don't hit a Chromas at least. So.
It hits Animate Dead, so I have to specifically reanimate something with Animate Dead, and then you blow Deed for 2 to kill the enchantment.
Yeah.
But if I play Exhume or Reanimate, you really don't have a way to answer.
I have two Vendettas in my deck,
but they don't hit Chromas and they don't hit Visaras.
Exactly. So it feels like you get lucky, and then even though I have Disruption and I have few removal spells, it's not fast enough. I feel like your deck is actually pretty resilient, so it's just gonna get more chances. Even if I have a ton of crypts in the sideboard, whatever, it doesn't do much. So.
And a lot of people think that Reanimator is kind of a glass cannon, that you just fold to a Tormod's Crypt, and I mean we just saw that wasn't the case.
I also saw you play against, who was it you played Reanimator against in an earlier week? You played it once before, and the exact same thing happened there. It wasn't off, but it was you fought through hate and you reanimated several cards over the course of the game.
It was against Mike Harris.
It was Mike Harris.
Mike
Harris.
Yeah.
Which is that's a very poor matchup for me. Yeah. So I was actually pretty surprised that I won. I got a little bit lucky in game 3, but
that really showcased how that deck can play out. It's not like, oh, I whiffed their turn 1 play, I win. That's not at all what the deck does. At least on your version of it.
Yeah, and I built it to be more consistent. It lost a tiny bit of explosiveness, which I still have quite a bit of explosiveness, obviously, if I'm putting turn 2 Visaras out.
Yeah.
But lost a little bit of explosiveness to play the tutor package, which makes it a lot more consistent for me. Game 1, the tutoring for Achroma there was pretty darn good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah, the tutors did scare me. I wrote down, as I always do, what card I will name on the play with Cabal Therapy turn 1, because that's a very important play to be able to do. And I just wrote Worldly Tutor, 100%. That's what I'm naming if I'm on the play and nothing. Like if I don't know the deck, I'm just naming Worldly Tutor, because it's one of the best cards you have against me. So.
I think one of my favorite Premodern Showdown series moments has been the blind Cabal therapies from you, Robin. Like hands down, just all right.
I will point out that I got the right deck twice out of 3 times. I just whiffed on the card, but I got the right deck.
You're halfway there.
Yeah.
Is that how you do it on the monthlies too? You like know your opponent. You're like, this person has played this deck like 40% of the time.
Honestly, there are some players I feel like I would do that against. But there's some players just that play the same stuff.
Antonio Fiscarelli, you just name a random artifact and you're pretty favored with it.
With the Smiths brothers, it's like Slayer Stifle Out, Slayer Stifle Out. Like with a few players, you're like, I know what you're on.
Yeah, that's. I guess one thing of being really in tune with the metagame, yeah.
And against me, you just name Cabal Therapy yourself.
Sure.
Every single time.
Yeah, or Duress. Cabal Therapy or Duress.
Yeah. They are in all of my decks. So.
Well, they were fun to watch. You know, tough luck, Robin, and congrats, Ron.
We're here for the fun. Who's up next?
Mike against Andrew will be our next match. So.
Yep.
So yeah, if you guys want to head out, Flint and I are gonna do. We're not gonna go to break yet. We're gonna do talk about the players. I got some slides, and then I also have an interesting poll that was taken from the players a while ago that I'm gonna show. So
all right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you next week.
Y'all have a good night.
Good games.
All right, I'm gonna jump over our first screen. So after week 1. I had sent out a poll to all the players, and then also Flint and I participated in this polling question, and it was who is going to win the Premodern Showdown series. And so we asked the players. So 5 of the people. So this is out of the 8 people who are playing, and then Flint and I. 5 people chose Jared to take down the PSS, and then 2 people chose Patrick, and then 1 person for each Michael Arnold, David Daniel, and Ron Taylor were chosen. So I guess I should jump over my standings. So I guess just by chance, that's pretty close in terms of like for the top 4 people were all on that list. So pretty interesting that how it played out. But okay, going back to here, I have some of the tabs. Talking about the players, have some new questions that were asked. So we asked them, what magic accomplishment are you most proud of? And Robin just said, I like to have a lot of fun when I play, and that's pretty cool, I guess. I guess he's not sure about it. But, and then also I asked, what non-magic accomplishment are you most proud of?
Non-magic? Yes, that's a thing?
The witty reply from Robin. So
that's pretty good.
Robin says he hesitantly decided that Jared is his Premodern rival, and so I guess the idea of was who you like maybe play the most, or someone who has your number kind of thing, not maybe someone who you literally have a beef against. I hope that's not the case, but which card do you wish was legal in Premodern, either something that's on the ban list or not within the sets? He said none. So I mean, that's a reasonable answer. I mean, I do like the format, but sometimes I am brewing through decks, and I'm like, man, I wish this one card was available. And it's not because it'd be just like super broken. It's just because it would just make like a obscure combo deck a little bit better, or some random deck. So
we want the Hasty Dragon from Portal, right?
Yes, the Brimstone Dragon.
The Brimstone Dragon,
yes.
Yeah. So we can make Dragonstorm a thing.
We're not asking much. Yeah, I've seen there was a middle school deck that had it. It's like 6 red for a 6/6 with haste and flying. And unfortunately, there are just not that many good dragons to put into play with Dragonstorm. So I guess maybe if I ever make it to a middle school deck. I think I had said that I would just play a Forcible Brainstorm deck, but maybe I'd have to give a Dragonstorm. It's from Brainstorm to Dragonstorm. I guess that's kind of a close thing. So, Robin's favorite vacation location is that rhymes is Sweden. So, I believe that's where he's from. So originally, so that would make sense. I always like, especially after I got more into the Magic community, Sweden seems sweet. It just like they're.
It does seem pretty cool.
Well, I mean, everything seems cool about the country, but then also like the Magic community from Sweden seems really like close knit, and it seems just really interesting to if I were to ever go there, it would be really cool. And then again with his favorite non-magic activity, his reply was non-magic question. So, magic's I guess a big part for Robin, big part of his life. So, all right, jump over to Ron. So, what magic accomplishment he's most proud of? He won 2 of 3 state championships in the same year. That's pretty damn impressive. So
yeah, that's really impressive.
I mean, I don't remember exactly how the state championships were set up. It seems kind of an oxymoron. Oh, I think you could travel to other people's states. Like you didn't. I don't think you had to be a resident.
You could.
So I think because there wouldn't be like multiple Florida state championships.
So
right?
Ron just chimed in and said he won limited and standard.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they so it was like one in the spring and one in the fall. Oh, didn't play modern. Oh, so this is more recent. I'm thinking this is like much longer ago. Okay, so this is much recent. More if modern was a format, and I don't. Modern has probably been a format for 10 years now, but
has it been that long? Oh my God.
Probably. Maybe it might be
Wow.
like 8, but I don't. 2014, he says.
Yep. Congrats, Ron.
His favorite, not favorite, his most, his accomplishment for non-magic, his 2 amazing kids, and so that makes sense. So
Good answer.
yes,
Good answer.
at least he didn't say like 2 of 3 amazing kids.
Yeah.
Um, he likes 2 of them, but he won't say which one. So
You got to keep him guessing.
favorite vacation location, he lives 20 minutes from the Florida Gulf beaches. So yeah, that'd be nice. I love warm weather.
That's nice. Yeah, the Gulf's great.
I've only been to the beach like the ocean beach a few times vacationing. So, yeah, I would like that. And his favorite non-magic activity is fishing. So, are you a fisher, Flint?
I am. I'm
Okay.
a fly fisherman. I love
okay.
to fly fish. So I grew up fishing in the rivers in Idaho, which is where Ron also grew up, actually. So we are both lovers of fishing.
Did you guys ever cross paths?
Nope.
No. Okay. I didn't know.
Nope.
In terms of if you knew each other from your past Idaho lives.
It's a pretty spread out state.
Sure. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't. So we're jumping over to Mike. His magic accomplishment he's most proud of is his invitation to the 2002 JSS Nationals. Did you ever play in any of the JSS tournaments?
I did not.
Okay, so I got a good story. So I had a friend that I got like real into Magic with, but he just almost exclusively played limited.
Hmm.
And this was to the point where the JSS had been expanded. I think the cutoff used to be 16, but then they had changed it to 18, and the payout was like a $500 scholarship to a college or for schooling kind of thing. So you didn't get paid in cash. That might have been how the payouts were previously. I don't remember, but I convinced my friend.
That'll buy a couple of books.
Yeah, I mean, in the time, yeah, inflation has happened, but yeah, especially like inflation for college has been pretty rapid, so probably more than other things. So, I, as a small high school child, I was able to build 2 different decks. So this was Ravnica Time Spiral Standard. So I played an Esper Flare deck, it's kind of like a soft reanimation control deck. It would like discard a creature with a 3 mana draw spell and then like zombify it with a 4 mana reanimation spell. But other than that, it was kind of like a big mana control deck. And then I gave my friend I don't know if Star Spangled Slaughter was the right name, because that was like a different standard era, but it was blue, white, red, tempo control with like remands and lightning helixes and lightning angels and whatnot. But my friend was playing in a somewhat of a mirror. I know an Achroma was a card. I don't know if we had it in the main or if it was just brought in the sideboard. But maybe my friend didn't have the Achroma. But anyways, his opponent had an Achroma in play. And my friend, so the opponent attacked with Achroma. My friend untapped, had a Wrath of God in his hand, but then just like passed the turn. And I was like watching. I was so confused. I did not understand why he passed the turn with that. I don't know why you wouldn't just Wrath the Achroma. And then his opponent like thinks before he attacks with the Achroma, he casts a second Achroma. And this is back. What? This is back when the legend rule just made both of them die. So my friend basically won by not casting that Wrath of God, and his opponent just completely screwed up.
Oh my god!
So because if you just would have cast the Wrath, then the other Achroma would have come down and he'd probably die a couple turns later. But so magically he ended up winning, and he ended up winning that tournament, which is kind of funny. And I think that was the only constructed tournament he has ever played. So he had a good record there. So that's my JSS story. I guess I also I have more, but we'll say that for another time.
Save it for another time.
Yeah.
Story time with Michael.
Yeah, that could go a while.
It could.
we finished our match a little bit early, so I guess I got a little bit of time to talk in between rounds. Mike's favorite non-Magic accomplishment: having a wife, 2 kids, a dog, a house, and a career. That's understandable. Things all to be proud of. So
seems legit.
Mike's favorite non-Magic activity is art. Mike, you should let us know if it's like just all kinds of art, or there's a specific, I don't know if genre is the right word, medium or something that you enjoy.
Watercolors, yes. Oil, acrylic, what are we talking? Sketch. For those of you who are listening, Mike did the logo for the Showdown series. So thanks again, Mike. Turned out great.
And then our last one for tonight, Andrew, his accomplishment he's most proud of for Magic was passing the level 1 judge test at Grand Prix Boston in 2001.
Michael, were you even born yet in 2001?
For sure, yes. I was probably playing in that JSS tournament in 2001.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I wonder what those. I don't even know what kind of questions they ask for a judge test, but
I think it's what is your name, what is your quest, and what is your favorite color. I think those are the 3.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is that more insulting to Andrew or more insulting to judges? I don't know. Because if that's your most proud accomplishment, and all it is was 3 basic questions. So, Flint, I'm making you look like a bad guy.
I like the next one. So, setting cliches aside, marriage, kids, etc. So, Andrew just putting Mike and Ron on blast here.
Sure.
I would say going on a silver tip shark dive in Ring. How do you say that? Rangaroa? Oh, I've never even heard of that place in French Polynesia. That sounds amazing. That's pretty legit.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Do you like this next one though?
Is that an accomplishment, or did he just spend some money? You know.
I guess you getting to a position to like have the means to do something like that is an accomplishment.
Fair enough.
Or having like the opportunity, it's like an accomplishment.
I'm just really jealous right now.
Sure.
Basically.
Yeah. Or just figuring out that is something you want to do could be an accomplishment. Like this is something that maybe no one else had thought of, and now they're going to. So.
What's this next one?
I don't know. So this one, I was told was biggest pre-modern rival in terms of one that like people you just don't like, you have a beef with. It was you, Flint.
No.
I'm joking. That was not.
I love you, Andrew.
So that I think this more stems for the number of times that Andrew has had to play Flint in the pre-modern monthlies. And Flint, I think you have Andrew's number. I don't know what your record is, overall record is.
I think I'm 100% against him in the monthlies.
You just always pack that enchantment hate, and you got everything on lockdown. So
I just run Tranquil Grove in all of my sideboards.
Which card do you wish was legal in Premodern, either banned or outside permitted sets? Pulse of the Fields. So if you guys don't know this one, I like the design of this card. So it's 1 white. It's an instant, and you gain 4 life. And if you have if you have less life than an opponent, it returns to your hand. So
Yep.
it could be a repetitive life gain spell. So yeah, nice Dirtly card. I guess it would most of the time would be okay against burn, but it's kind of like if you're spending 3 mana and only gaining 4, but then also they just have Sulfuric Vortex. That card feels pretty silly, but yeah, it'd be a good way to get around some of those pesky aggro decks.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite vacation location is Glacier National Park.
Nice.
I've not been there.
I have not either, but it looks amazing.
So, and favorite non-magic activity is sleeping. I can get behind that. But
Agreed.
yeah, sleeping's good. All right.
Excellent.
So
Well,
I was just gonna say, unless Flynn had something to add, we're going to jump to our intermission and then get our other players set up for our next match. So we're gonna take a quick break, and so just stay put, everyone, and we will see you for the next match.
see you soon.
All right, everyone, we are back from our break. We are about to start our second match between Mike Harris and Andrew Walker. We'll go over to the decks for these players so we can see what's possibly in store for us. So one deck for Mike is the Cognivore Oath. We just saw Oath of Druids bring up some of Asara and a Petrodon. I'm forever gonna forget that card's name. Well, this one's a lot different. It's only gonna bring up Cognivore. It's its only creature, and then it's just other than that, it's just a bunch of blue cards, a bunch of counter spells. So very different type of Oath deck than, well, not that Ron's deck was an Oath deck, but the Junzu Grow, which I think is a fan favorite. The low to the ground aggro beatdown deck with fun features as Reckless Charge and then Kyrian Dryad. Those are all cards that we like to see. So this one's fun, aggressive, and pretty quick, pretty cool. And then the Wugnut, the Stifle Knot with green, and it also has a little bit of white as well. So the Dreadnought shares the spotlight with Nimble Mongoose and Werebear, and other than that, it's a pretty standard Stifle Knot deck. All right, Flint, we're looking at the decks for Andrew, his Oath deck. Do you want to say some things about this one?
pretty straightforward. Uses Oath of Druids to get a Phantom Neshoba in play as fast as possible. If the opponent doesn't play creatures, and Funeral Pyre comes into play, and Worthy Cause is in there to gain additional life, Gay's Blessing to shuffle cards back in. It's a pretty standard Andrew Walker deck, and he's very good with it.
The Squeebind deck is another one for Andrew.
So Squee, Goblin, Nabob, and Stormbind combo here to kill all of the creatures and eventually go to the face. And then some ways to mitigate creatures with Starstorm, direct damage, and Gamble, and some other cards to speed things up like Exploration and Hornagreed.
Okay. And then the blue-green Enchantress deck.
Favorite of mine as well, probably the fastest of the Enchantress decks. Uses the Wild Growth and Fertile Grounds and cards like Cloud of Fairies, Exploration to generate a ton of mana really quickly, eventually get a Serra's Sanctum in play, and use Words of Wind to bounce all of your opponent's permanents, and eventually either attack for the win or block them out of the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll jump over to our ban screen. We'll make a prediction on what the players are going to ban from their opponents, and then if Flint and I agree enough, we'll make a prediction of what they're going to play as well.
I disagree.
Okay.
Oh, we haven't started yet. Sorry, gosh, a little overzealous there. I apologize.
Okay. If you are Mike, what do you think you're going to ban of Andrew's?
I think I ban Oath. Well, with the exception of Cognivore, Mike's decks are pretty heavily creature based, and I think Andrew's Oath deck is probably just more powerful than Mike's. So I think I would probably ban the Oath, but I don't know if that's right or not. Again, I didn't research this one as much, so I apologize.
Well, in terms of, I guess, from Mike's perspective, I don't think he can bring his Junzu Grow deck today. Like, I think Andrew's Oath deck and his Stormbind deck actually line up pretty well against it.
Agreed.
And obviously you can't ban both of those. So you kind of have to think of like, okay, I can only really consider the Dreadnought and the Cognivore. So which one, is there any matchup that he would like try and want to face against those? I mean, if it's Cognivore Oath against Andrew's Oath, I think the Cognivore Oath might be favored because I think the permission is just more powerful. Like, Mike can pick what to fight over, and I mean, obviously if one player plays the Oath, it does the same thing for both players, so you don't really need to cast your own Oath. You can just worry about countering the Funeral Pyre or something else, or the Scroll Racks or the Gaia's Blessing, and try and go for it that way. So I don't think you actually mind that matchup. Okay, so I guess I'm going to say he's going to ban the blue-green Enchantress deck, and he's going to bring either the Dreadnought deck or the Cognivore deck, depending on what Andrew bans. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. If you are Andrew, what deck of Mike's are you going to ban?
Probably Wugnot.
Okay.
I think, well, I don't know. Probably Wugnot. I don't know. I think it's probably Mike's strongest deck, and it's a Dreadnought's hard for Andrew to handle. He can't really race it with Enchantress. He can't really kill it with Squeebind. So what he's got to try to do is Oath into the couple Neshobas probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Mike has Disruption in Wugnot to stop the Oath from coming down. So I think it's just got a game against all three of Andrew's decks.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Plus, though, I mean, I think it is actually pretty reasonable to ban the Cognivore Oath because of how it lines up.
That would be the second one I would pick for sure.
Yeah, but I think Andrew's just going to ban the Stifle Knot deck. I guess the only reason is if you like are able to bring your Oath deck and you think that it's because obviously the Dreadnought deck has to play creatures to win. But I think that he's going to ban the Stifle Knot deck. I'll say that as well. All right, so let's jump over to our matches. Flint, you want to let know our Flint? Do you want to let our players know they can start?
I just did so. Thank you, Michael.
I don't understand why. I guess it's just how players play. Like every time I have to like switch around I have to flip the screens of people. Let me flip that. Otherwise, Andrew looks like they're kind of playing on a team against some unknown opponent.
Streaming is hard, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Okay.
people of all ages.
So, are they still getting their mulligans?
It looks like Andrew is deciding what to put on the bottom, and Mike took a mulligan.
Okay.
Do you want me to look at the bands?
Sure.
All right. It looks like Mike banned Enchantress.
Okay.
And Andrew banned Wugnut.
Okay. So.
Cool. All right. Are we going to see Oath versus Oath?
I'm guessing Andrew probably brought Oath. Yes, I'm gonna guess we're gonna see Oath against Oath.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna see too.
That was 3 cards went to the bottom, so that's a not good start for Mike. I mean, like if we, especially us, knowing that the Stifle Knot deck is banned, like we'd have a little bit of hope. Okay, so that looks like
all right. So that's Oath. That's a factory.
That's a Mishra's Factory. That's a
Zerrin
Orb. Okay. Is that in both his decks, or that's just in his Oath one, right? We'll wait a turn. We'll wait a turn or two for Andrew, but I'm pretty sure that's only in his Oath deck. So hope you guys like Oath the Druids, because
Monday, all Oath, all night long.
Yes.
Be there.
Oh well, the jig is up. It is an Oath for sure.
Are you sure that's an Oath?
Yes.
All right, if you say so. Yes, Ron, we heard you like Oath of Druids.
Okay, so the City of Brass was used to cast Sylvan Library,
right? Yes. So okay. Mike Karras is at 19 and Andrew's still at 20.
So we see an Oath in play. So what are players looking to do from this point?
I think Andrew is just waiting for Mike to tap out so maybe he can, or I guess Mike doesn't have any cards in his graveyard, so Funeral Pyre is not an option yet, but that's probably what he's waiting to do.
Okay. So you're saying, so basically Andrew's looking to resolve a Funeral Pyre on one of Mike's cards.
And I think Andrew's artifact destruction is Seal. And so right now I think Mike can just kind of comfortably attack with the factory, right?
Yes. Isn't there a Aura of Silence too, or is that I can't remember, but I don't think there's not like a disenchant, I don't think. We see the factory coming in.
Yeah, he's got one Seal and one Aura of Silence, but he doesn't have a like a Naturalize or a Disenchant here. So
okay.
I think Mike's content to just build his lands up, not put any cards in the graveyard, and swing him with the factory until he sees an Aura or a Seal, and then he has to be thinking about next steps.
Yeah, because basically from the spot, Andrew kind of has to react, and if Mike just makes his land drops, it's almost pretty tricky for Andrew to do. I think he probably needs a Seal of Cleansing to kind of be able to do something. Force Mike to put a card in his graveyard.
Well, if Andrew decides to Enlighten Tutor here for one of those cards, he's going to put a card in his graveyard, and Mike can always Cunning Wish and get his own Funeral Pyre and cast it. So then Andrew would need a Worthy Cause to get rid of his spirit. So we may see some interesting interactions here.
Yeah. Well, so is there ever a line like, does Mike want to get rid of the Oath of Druids, or does he want to get rid of the creature once it comes down? Like, I guess if he swords a Phantom Neshoba, then he's probably going to keep his Funeral Pyre token in play, and then another Neshoba is just going to come. So yeah, maybe that doesn't work. I'm just trying to think of different ways to do it. So why? Oh, okay. So he's casting Merchant Scroll. So
It's gonna get a Cunning Wish.
could get a Enlightened Tutor. Could get a sword. Oh no, it has to get blue cards. Could
Yeah,
get.
probably Cunning Wish.
Nope, Latinum's Legacy.
Latinam's Legacy.
We saw that. I think
He's
last
got a
time.
Cognivore in his hand.
Yeah. That one's from Alliances. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this card is kind of a concession for you playing this super clunky 8 mana creature. So I think Andrew's casting Intuition.
Yep.
The Cognivore. Yeah, so this is, especially with the blue deck that wants to draw a bunch of cards, you're a little bit worried about drawing the card you want to Oath into. So that's a good way to put it back. I mean, I guess you could have Scroll Rack, but given that the blue deck has so many instants, you're likely to have mana up and then cast Latinum's Legacy at the end of a player's turn. So Andrew's still looking for his Intuition cards. What he wants is do you think he's just getting 3 Funeral Pyres?
Maybe that's what I had initially thought he was gonna go for.
I mean, I guess the other thing is if he has. Oh, look, is he getting lands? Because it's possible he had one in his hand because. Well, he doesn't have access to white mana right now, right? He just has forest, island.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like this Windswept Heath is. So I'm guessing he has a Funeral Pyre in hand, and
Oh my god. Does Mike have Stifle main deck? He does, right? He's got 2 Stifle. What if he stifles the Windswept Heath?
Well, he has a Plains up right now, I think.
Oh, I thought he had his own like Flooded Strand.
No,
Never mind.
but yeah. I thought you were gonna get all excited about like stifling an Oath Trigger. I'm like, that's not that exciting.
Ha! His old hat.
Yeah.
Everybody stifled an Oath Trigger. Or maybe it was just Jared Doucette.
I'm trying to think if I have. I probably
I've
have,
done it.
but I'm not sure. I don't know.
My favorite is to stifle a Tormod's Crypt.
I have done that.
I have too. I tried to divert a Tormod's Crypt trigger once and was like, oh, not abilities. My bad. It was the most embarrassing moment in my entire life.
Yeah, I think Manlands definitely could help out Andrew's deck, but I think the current version of his list, like his mana base changes a lot. He has both basic island and basic mountain with his land tax package, and I'm trying to think he's other. I guess he just has like some random like gemstone mines and undiscovered paradise, if I remember. I guess you could maybe fit a few in. I don't think you could fit 8 manlands in, but. So he's scroll racking. So he did this after he fetched, right?
Correct.
So what does that indicate? That wouldn't you want to do it the other way around? Because now you're going to be drawing those cards again?
Fair enough. Maybe he really likes the cards in his hand, but he needs something else.
Sure. Okay. A flooded strand is. I'm gonna guess it's gonna get an island for Mike. Oh, and Andrew puts his hand on the plains because this could be an opportunity. So if he has Funeral Pyre, because what are the counter spells in Mike's deck? It's like actual counter spell. Are there like?
He's got 4 counterspell, 2 forbid. Yeah, they're both double blue.
So we see a Funeral Pyre get cast.
Yep.
Most likely on one of the 2 cards in. Oh, wow. Wait.
Oh my
This-
god.
Oh, wow. This is.
Is that a misdirection?
Yes.
That is amazing.
So,
Wow.
so
Living the dream, Mike Harris.
okay, so he's changing this. So Andrew still owns the spell, but he's targeting one of the cards in Andrew's graveyard, and because of the way Funeral Pyre is worded, it puts the token whoever's graveyard was targeted. So yes, its owner puts a 1/1. So yes, so the spirit will go into play for Andrew. That's really funny. Mike should be at 16, right? I had him.
Mike's
Yeah,
at 16.
he's 16. Okay, Andrew doesn't look. It looks like Andrew has missed it. So
Wow. But this is on Mike's turn, right?
this was no, I think no, because
Or was this the
Andrew
turn?
played the Windswept Heath and fetched, and then he activated Scrollack on his turn, I think. And then end of turn, Mike was fetching. I think is where we were at, but I'm not sure.
Andrew's casting an Enlightened Tutor here.
He's getting
Getting
his
his own
own
Sylvan.
Sylvan library.
Two well-read druids.
Yes. But Mike hasn't paid any life, right? I mean, I guess he hasn't, not for the library. Yeah.
No.
Because this seems like a matchup where Mike could be more aggressive with his libraries. Because Andrew doesn't really have wasted chip damage in. Okay, so we see the library come down. Did Andrew have any way to get rid of that token in an enchantment form? I mean, I guess like he could have seal cleansing his own, got like seal cleansing with the Enlightened Tutor and blown up his own Oath of Druids, but
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
But then if that were like real desperate, then what happens if Mike just untaps and plays his own Oath? And then you feel like real bad. You like skip the draw step and like 2-for-1 to yourself. You just spent like so many cards. So he's seen Oath of Druids trigger.
He doesn't miss his Oath trigger, Ron.
So, did that Spirit not attack? Spirit could have attacked, right?
I think it wants to block, maybe? Does he have Dragon Breath?
Yes, I think there is a Dragon Breath. All right, that's fine. I was thinking it had Trample, but I guess I don't think the Cognivore has
How
Trample.
big is your Lurgoyf?
Well, he exiled an instant from
10.
Oh, that was very nice. Thanks, you, Mike. Yes, very considerate. Yeah, can I bum an Oath trigger? Yeah. Just need one turn. I guess what Andrew wants to do is block and then trigger his own Oath. I mean, that's what he wants to do. So he's Sylvan Library. It looks like he put 2 cards there. So did he pay 4 life?
He put 2 cards back?
Maybe. Or maybe he's still resolving the Sylvan Library trigger. No, but it looks like Andrew's drawing cards, so.
So Mike does not attack.
Well, it has Summoning Sickness. There's no Dragon Breath on it.
Oh, he didn't get the oh. Obviously.
Oh.
Andrew trying to decide about those cards.
One card we haven't talked about in this matchup is Moment's Peace. And it might come into play. It's something I think Andrew has access to. Andrew has 4. I don't think Mike has access to any.
I don't believe so.
But it is something that could be an interesting dance to play around because it's one card that Andrew could use twice, and so Mike would have to counter twice if he's trying to like close out the game right away, or if you're like swinging for lethal, or if like the crackback from a Phantom Neshoba is relevant and you're just trying to kill him in one attack. That Moment's Peace might be a card that Mike needs to consider to play around.
Mm-hmm.
So we are seeing. I see 2 cards set aside.
So he's passing here.
Okay. All right. I'm having a hard time filling time when he's resolving a Sylvan Library trigger. So
I'm on the edge of my seat. What are you
Yes.
talking about?
I usually have something to talk about, but right now I guess I
Will it
don't.
be 1 card? Will it be 2 cards? It just might be 3 cards. Oh my goodness, here we go.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think Mike can take advantage of Sylvan Library a little better because, like, he might want. Well, right now it's probably hard for him to cast multiple counter spells in one turn, but I think that might be where he eventually wants to be at.
Have you ever seen the Simpsons episode where the soccer game comes to town?
I do not think I have.
So all of Springfield goes because they make it look really, really interesting and enthralling on TV. And Kent Brockman is the sports announcer, and he's like, center passes to halfback, halfback to center, back to halfback. He holds it, holds it, holds it. And then it cuts to the like the Latino announcer, and he's like, center to halfback, halfback to center, back to halfback. He holds it, holds it, holds it.
Same
It's
game.
one of my favorite clips. Yeah. I'm a soccer player. I love soccer, but it's like it's so boring to people who don't play it. It's kind of like these guys are both Sylvan Library players, you know, and they're doing their thing. But to us, it's like, all right, come on, where's the action?
So we saw a Swords of Plowshare that was cast on the Spirit token of Andrew, and that allows the Cognivore to get through, I believe, for 11.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess. Well,
If he just played the swords.
yeah. Andrew might be Moment's Piecing here. So what do you think about swordsing that Spirit
He's going to
token?
7. It makes me think that Mike's got another swords, or maybe a way to interact with a dragon breath.
Yeah. But then like it's kind of like almost on that spot. Like if Andrew just has Moment's Piece there, he's got 5 mana. Like it doesn't look like you can counter and counter twice in one turn. It seems like your like math could really get messed up if you're banking on just killing him in two swings.
Maybe he's got a stifle for Andrew's oath trigger.
Sure. So you're able to stack either the Sylvan and the Oath trigger at the same time, right?
Sylvan is draw step.
Oh, okay.
Oath is upkeep.
All right. So we see a Gaia's Blessing that was milled. And
Yep. It's an important keyword now.
Ooh, how many instants? How big is this? Cognivore is at 9, because it got a little smaller. I know there was an Enlightened Tutor, and I think a Funeral Pyre got shuffled back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it went from 11 to 9. Yeah, that looks like it.
That's enough to do the trick. Andrew really needs moments.
Well, there's a Zurin Orb in play.
That's true.
Do you think Mike is remembering that? Because that would be pretty interesting if he attacked thinking that he had a lethal, and then Andrew's able to. Because if Andrew's just able to get an attack with a Phantom Neshoba, the math changes pretty dramatically. Because gaining 7 life with a Phantom Neshoba is pretty powerful. And I think Moment's Peace is a card that like Mike should be on Mike's mind. Because if he's
Absolutely.
just planning on finishing the game the next turn, if Andrew has 1 moment's peace, Mike needs to have 2 counter spells in order to prevent it because of flashback.
Yep. He's not running to dissipate.
Oh, I've not updated Andrew's life total.
Yeah, he's at 7.
Sorry about that. So are we at Sylvan Library right now?
Correct.
Are we passing it to the halfback?
Back to center.
Back to center. Mike's tapping mana. 3 mana. Is this another Cunning Wish? Looks like it. So what?
Swords?
Okay.
That's my initial guess. Let me take a peek here.
It's just not that good. I mean, like...
Funeral Pyre, Swords, Shadow Rift, Naturalize. Yeah, he could Naturalize the Oath. Russian River.
What if you just got Stifle and stifled the gain life trigger? I don't know, because if you just swords a Phantom Neshoba, he's just going to get another one. And he's gaining life for the Neshoba. Getting exiled.
He's thinking.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't something he knew exactly what he wanted, because at least initially that's what it seems, because it looks like he's looking through a sideboard trying to figure out what he wants. Yeah, and I'm not sure.
Maybe just a Russian River?
Oh, that would be good. I mean, when I say good, I mean... Okay, so Shadow Rift, I think really the only thing is just cycles. I mean, because the evasion is... Is this from Tempest?
Yeah, it's the evasion is moot.
Yeah.
Given that Cognivore has flying.
Yeah. No, because of Funeral Pyre, I guess I would say it could be relevant.
Oh,
which is what is happening.
But he's targeting obviously he's targeting Mike's graveyard here,
okay.
Not his own.
Okay. Well, so wait. It's an 8? It can't be an 8 now, because if he removed an instant, but he also added one. Right?
No, Cunning Wishes gets exiled.
No, but it was at 9, wasn't it? And then he just ticked it down.
Oh, and then he added one too, right?
Well, he both added, but Andrew added one. Andrew subtracted one, but then also added one. But it seemed like Mike ticked it down. All right. Maybe we're recounting. I'm leaning in onto my screen to see if... So he's got it at 8,
he's putting it back at 9.
No,
I think he put it back at 9.
No, that's
Can
an 8.
you see it?
That's an 8. He has it at 8. I think it is more. I don't know if they're... Can you message him and ask him just to recount the power toughness of that guy? Because, I mean, unless I missed something. Because I thought after the guy's blessing, Mike put it down to 9. And then...
Mike says 8.
Well, looks like he's moving the die, so... It's now at 9.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent. Good catch, sir. That's why they pay Mike White the big bucks.
Yeah. Well, wait. Oh, so Andrew sacrificed a land to Zernorb to gain 2 life. But, he didn't lose 2, he gained 2. He's going to have to do it again now if he wants to stay alive.
Yep.
Which is a big difference, I guess, if that was an 8-8 compared to a 9-9.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's still a Shadow Rift in his hand, too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, he hasn't cast that yet. Okay.
Yeah, I think Russian River's better than. We don't know what's in Mike's hand, but Russian River just seems better because you can just bounce the Neshoba. Although Mike does have 2 creatures, so there's another Neshoba coming. But you could kick it.
Yep. The Russian River. It's our favorite river.
It is our favorite. The best river.
All right, you see Shadow Rift. So this is gonna basically give the Cognivore +1/+1 and draw a card. It's like it's aggressive urge. That's what it is. So I wish these cards were like playable and constructed, but they're just way too low impact. But I do like limited games where cards like aggressive urge can be taken advantage of. Okay, so all right, so how would Andrew go to 2 if he was at 9 and the Cognivore is a oh, he tagged for 11. Okay.
He sacked
I forgot about the
sometimes.
spirit. Okay. So there are not many lands left in, but he could hit Dragon Breath. Oh, no. He got Dragon Scales, but not Dragon Breath.
Gives it vigilance.
Yes.
Okay.
So he's going to be able to attack with one Nisho, but the one that was in play already.
Mm-hmm.
That'll gain him 7, though. He would go to 9. And that's not enough, though. He needs a moment's peace, and he needs it to resolve. Yeah, him like having to sack those lands on the last turn is like really puts Andrew in a bad position. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to win. Mike's just able to control the game if Andrew is only on 2 lands.
Yep.
Surprised he didn't have a moment's peace. I mean, there's like 4 in the deck, and if with enough scroll racks, I feel like it's probably not a card you prioritize very highly at most points of the game, so I can definitely see him shuffling it away. I can't really blame him for it, but yeah, it's unfortunate that he didn't have a moment's peace. Okay, so
Mike going to what?
He was
8 here?
I had him at 15, so yeah, then 8 would make sense.
And I think Andrew's just been unlucky here. And to be fair, he hasn't scroll racked for a lot. He hasn't had a lot of cards in his hand to scroll rack because he doesn't have the land tax going.
Mm-hmm.
But to not have drawn a single one is pretty odd. I mean, maybe he still has one in his hand. He's got 3 mana open here, so Mike has to be thinking about it. Hey, Captain Rogers, welcome. Guten Morgen.
Yeah, because I forgot that. So Mike did mull to 4 with this deck. I completely forgot about that. And that happened earlier with Ron. So, right, Ron mulled to 4.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. We've not talked about it in terms of the mulliganing and how that's come into play in terms of what's going on. Yeah, that is an interesting point. Yeah, all the cool kids win a mulls to 4. Okay, so is Andrew able to stay alive? Okay, so he sacked a land. But he's still attacking for 11. And I think Mike is just casting an Enlightened Tutor to
get another card in the graveyard.
Yeah, but I think he has he has 11 power right now. It's still lethal. Oh, he's
He's
countering
counterspelling his own Enlightened Tutor.
Is this just a flex or is this actually needed? It seems like
it
seems like 11 was. I mean, I guess it.
It's going to 13.
Well, because Andrew does have another land to sack, so maybe he's.
Mm-hmm.
But you could wait for him to sack it, I guess. But that was a neat way, an innovative way to use forbid. It's like build your own putrid imp kind of thing.
It looks like there's some back and forth here between the players.
Wait. So
All right, no, they got it. They got it
well,
figured out.
wait. Andrew has himself at 1, and Mike's scooping up. So did math happen wrong?
It may have.
Because given that Andrew has his dice at 1, makes it seem like Mike was thinking like the 4 bid was going to go to the graveyard when he counted or something.
Yeah, Mike says bad at math to the
Okay.
group chat. So yeah, he was off.
Interesting.
So do you think the punt there is potentially not getting Rushing River with the Cunning Wish to bounce both the Nishobas?
So the card that he got was Shadow Rift.
Shadow Rift, yeah.
Like you could just get. I think you could just get Stifle.
Well, but there's already one Nishoba on the table
Yeah.
that's going to swing in. If you get
Yeah,
Rushing
and
River,
then you stifle the lifelink. The life
just the
gain
life
trigger.
gain,
Yeah.
but then it's still in play for the next turn,
Yeah,
right?
but then you
Without
don't.
summoning sickness.
Yeah, but then you don't have to deal like. He gained 7 life. You would have lethal.
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah. Stifle works too.
All right, so let's go over to the deck screen and see how sideboarding changes stuff.
All right, let's take a peeksies.
The Andrew's Oath deck. So I like Tormod's Crypt against the Cognivore deck.
Yep.
The Defense Grid will likely come in. Sabo's Web will likely come in. Back to Basics will come in.
Yep.
Is this a back to basics choke kind of deal again? I think it might be. And
It might be.
I think Iridescent Angel is actually really good. Like
yes, Iridescent Angel is bonkers good against Mike.
Mike can't really remove it. And he can't get through it with a Cognivore. It won't have trample.
Nope.
And the protection
It's
can just sit
stone
there.
wall.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. So the cards that you take out, I feel like I would take out Dragon Scales. That one didn't seem like it did very much. Worthy. Well, the only thing about Worthy Cause is it's like a little bit insurance about.
It's a hedge against swords.
I was thinking more of Mike's Funeral Pyres.
Yeah. We didn't talk much about it, but it's really good against Swords to Plowshares as well. So his Nishobas just don't all get removed from the game.
I mean, the problem is you have to get to the point of where that's relevant, though. Like, you still have guys busting. Like, how many Swords to Plowshares need to be cast for that to be like an issue?
I agree, but dude, we've seen Andrew grind out matches where we thought he was down because he just continues to Oath and Blessing and Oath and Blessing and Fog, and so he can make the games go long. And so it actually is important that he still has those Nishobas, and if he has to cast a Worthy Cause to gain the life to then shuffle it back in later, I mean, I think it's actually pretty good in the deck.
Yeah. Probably take out some numbers of Moments Peace. Like, you just don't need 4 against a deck that's not pressuring you.
Yep, agreed.
All right, let's look at the Cog Oath deck for Mike. So I think at least 2 of the Funeral Pyres come in, because you still have the Cunning Wishes to go get the third one.
Yes.
And then...
Oh, I think Capsize is good.
Do you want it in the...
You probably keep it in the board, yeah.
Wait, where is... I don't see Capsize.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong list. Mike Harris is right next to Mike Arnold. So Mike Arnold, if you want to loan Mike Harris your Capsize.
Yeah, I don't think... I mean, he could maybe bring in Morphling, but that doesn't seem that good. Morphling doesn't seem good.
No.
Because it's Divert, Shadow Rift, I think Intervene, Stifle, Swords, Naturalize.
I think it's just the Funeral Pyres.
Does Null Rod do anything? Scroll Rack, Zurin Orb, Lotus Petals. That's reasonable. You could bring in Null Rod.
Let me pull up Andrew's list here. Scroll right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a decent answer to Scroll Rack. Like Mike or Andrew's like draw engine is pretty much Scroll Rack land tax, and that's kind of a way to shut it down. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike brought that in, but I don't know if it's correct. Are there any cards that are not exciting out of Mike's deck? Is the Stifle worth it? 2 Stifles?
I like Stifle in this match.
Well, there's a lot of things that it can do, but it just none of it seems that high impact.
I think Powder Keg comes out.
Powder Keg. I guess Powder Keg doesn't hit the enchantments.
Right. So much of what Andrew's doing is enchantment based.
It's decent against the Funeral Pyre tokens.
Yeah.
Like if Andrew tries to get a creature there.
It looks like they're ready. I'm gonna let them know
Okay.
if they can start.
All right.
All right. Let's see what sideboard cards show up.
Yeah, Keg does hit Crypt. Keep forgetting to mention that.
Crypt.
All right.
Yeah, we always do forget that. Like when we forgot the Withered Wretch in Full English Breakfast. Yeah, seems good.
Yeah, I didn't mention it. I talked about it blowing up creatures initially, and then Robin played a Tormod's Crypt, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. The Powder Kegs might have come in just to fight the Tormod's Crypt. So
It's a pretty strong start from Andrew. Turn 1 land tax.
yes, the land tax. Do you think he's gonna use all those counters on those Gemstone Mine to get under that land tax?
Absolutely.
I mean, Mike's probably just gonna play a land here, right?
He has to. Well, I guess he doesn't have to. He could wait, but it's probably not a good strategy.
I do not like playing against land tax. It's such a bad feeling, like whenever you like give them a land tax trigger.
Oh yeah.
I guess you could say the same thing for like Oath of Druids. So Mike did not play a land, but Andrew did. But he's still.
Days.
I don't think Days is in
Days isn't on the list, is it?
Mike's list.
Okay.
But Andrew is using. He wouldn't have the opportunity to. Yeah. Excuse me. I was thinking maybe he'd be able to get rid of the last counter on the Gemstone Mine, but it's not like the land tax has like a trigger if it isn't active kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We got more Sylvan Library ing. Let's see if any life is being paid.
Do you want to tell your other Junior Super Series story while we're doing the Sylvan Library?
Oh, I guess it wasn't more of like, it just more of, that was the first constructed tournament that I ever played in. And so it was, Darksteel had just come out. And I was going to play Goblins because that was like the cards that I had collected. And Skullclamp was a card that was recently printed. That card was very good.
So it hadn't been banned yet?
No, it just had been released. And
oh.
I mean, I knew from like reading some articles that card was good, but my brother told me not to play it, so I didn't play it. But,
I still remember playing against Ravager with Skullclamp and Disciple and everything, and just being like, really? This is where Magic is?
I still got third in that tournament, so still did okay. I'm not saying the competition was very stiff for the JSS, though. Owen Turnwald was in that tournament, so.
Did you play him?
I did not, but he definitely top 8'd, I remember. But I only lost to one guy and lost to him twice. I lost him once in the Swiss and lost him with the top 8. So.
Choke.
Oh yes, You're not referring to me. You're referring to the card,
Agreed.
or maybe both. I don't know. So that's a Latinum's legacy, right? That he's doing it in response. Well, he's not going to get to use that
Yeah,
island again.
Robin, you're right. Someone must have gotten into Andrew's collection and written all over his cards with a permanent marker.
Yeah. Those kids, those meddling kids. I feel like every game we somehow get a unhinged card up on the screen in some way.
That's how it should be.
Yes. So islands are not untapping. Which is Andrew has an island too. I guess I didn't realize that. It's kind of funny. Mike has a true mirror.
Here we go.
How many ways does Mike have to get rid of that choke? He's got how many seal cleanses does he have?
He's got naturalizing the board.
Yeah. I mean, I guess right now it's not doing that much. It's keeping one land tap for Mike, one land tap for Andrew, but it'll be interesting how this Tormod's Crypt comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's something that I feel like Mike should be worried about, because if he ever does trigger an oath, get a Cognivore into play, Andrew will be able to really reduce its size. And then also it's possible that if, like, let's say there's a Cognivore in play, Andrew exiles Mike's graveyard, so then it's only staying alive because of Andrew's instance. If Andrew's able to either mill a Gaia's Blessing, or like maybe even just cast it and shuffle 3 instants back, that might be the only 3 instants that Andrew has, and the Cognivore might die, which could be interesting. Oath of Druids. So how many Oath of Druids do you cut? I guess that was one thing we didn't talk about in sideboard. Are you cutting any Oath of Druids in the Oath of Druids mirror?
Ooh. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe cut 2.
I guess it depends on like what your game plan is, because it seems almost like, and kind of both of them, their plan is to like force your opponent to get a creature with Funeral Pyre, and in that case you want to have more more Oath of Druids, because you want to control one of the Oath trigger, as compared to like, can someone execute their game plan better by just that island doesn't untap. What happened to Mike's island? Andrew's island should not untap.
He put it off to the side.
Oh, I see it. Okay, I see the bottom half. Oh, I have my card fetcher on screen, so it was covering it. Andrew's island should not untap. Okay, there we go.
We got it. I messaged him.
Okay. There's a dice on that one now. Yeah, that is a good point, chat, talking about how the choke is forcing Mike to play into the land tax so that Andrew's able to get more basic lands.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the scroll rack yet, but still, I don't know. Who's winning right now? I mean, I think it has to be Andrew, right?
I mean, Andrew's in pretty good shape.
Okay, there's a defense crit. He's got more permanents to play, that's for
More
sure.
hate comes down. Yep.
Counterspell. He takes 2 damage to cast
Counterspell.
it. Is that the first damage he's taken? No.
But now the shields are down.
Oh, Andrew has paid presumably 4 life, because if he's at 16. Yeah, you're saying now the shields are down, but
yeah. So here comes the Funeral Pyre.
Okay.
Yep, there it is.
And with Mike so choked on mana, it's kind of hard for him to, unless he just has the Swords of Plowshares. Mike might be in trouble. Okay, he gets the Sylvan Library.
Dig through that library.
Yes. I'm trying to think, because I mean, I feel like a lot of the cards that Mike needs is Cunning Wish, and I don't know. I mean, he's got 3 mana on tap right now, but I guess he does have some 1 mana answers like Swords of Plowshares, or I mean, you could play a Funeral Pyre of your own, but that's not that good. Yeah, I don't. This is tough for Mike, because once that Neshoba comes down, or it could be an Iridescent Angel. Let's hope for that. That won't be exciting.
So he needs a Swords or a land and a Cunning Wish, right? And a land that can produce. Oh no, it's any land.
Yeah, because he has City Brass and Yabma Echoes. So.
Yep. Just one card, it looks like.
Okay, City of Brass is played. So now he has access to 4 mana, so now the line of like doing a Cunning Wish for an answer is live. Gets in his 1 damage. Okay, so he opts to swords his own guy. I guess that makes sense, because if you just react to the one that Andrew has, it's you're gonna have to deal with it again the next turn, because of Oath would trigger again. Oh no, that island doesn't untap. That island does not untap.
You've got the beat on it.
It's gonna move further and further out to the side. Now you have all these dies. That guy's not untapped unintentionally anymore. All right. Yeah, I guess it's not that often you play choke with islands in your deck, but there's one in Andrews, so. So, you still like Andrew's position right now, right? Do you think at what point does the tide turn? Do you think anything
for my it?
Yeah. Well, because okay, so
I think if Andrew plays a Scroll Rock, it's probably game over.
Sure. Okay. So Mike is just going
well,
to.
I guess they're both at 5.
How many cards does Mike have to counter from this spot though? Because Defense Grid's gone. If you just, is Mike thinking I'm just going to counter all of Andrew's threats? I don't know. This is an accumulated
Funeral
knowledge.
Pyre. It's probably the yeah. So he wants to just keep countering Funeral Pyres at this point.
Okay. So Sylvan Library is triggering.
Looks like, is Mike at 17?
Yeah,
From
I think
the accumulated knowledge.
I think I did make him lose a point, but I might have missed like a City of Brass tap. So. Oh, I think it was from casting the Swords of Plowshares. I made him lose a life. Enlightened Tutors cast for Andrew. So what's he getting here? Scroll rack.
Gotcha.
Scroll rack.
Scroll rack would be good. Yeah.
More Oath of Druids. Back to basics. That wouldn't be bad. I mean, I guess he can't cast it as Islands tab, but it would just be funny to have choke it back to basics and play. It's funny, like this card in Blood Moon, I always associate him with like so powerful, but I feel like there's like no pre-modern deck that this, I guess, like Mud, I guess is the only thing, but like I guess Balancing Things, but I feel like most decks have just like the perfect split of basics and non-basics that neither Back to Basics or Blood Moon is like the end all be all. Do you feel the same way, or do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not as good in Premodern as it is in Legacy.
Sure. Or Blood Moon in Modern against certain decks, yeah.
Or Modern, yeah.
Seal Cleansing. So that, I mean, I don't think I'd use it in the Sylvan Library, would you? Oh. I guess.
What else is there that he's worried about?
Are you worried about getting attacked with a Mishra's Factory a bunch of times? Well, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. Like, if Mike starts getting enough mana and is attacking a bunch of times, then maybe I'm more worried about it. But yeah. So, how much damage is Mike taking to cast these? 2. I wonder if that's going to come into play too. The amount of damage that Mike has to take from his lands. So a Funeral Pyre is being cast presumably on, well, I guess there is instances where you would want to target an instant that is in Andrew's graveyard because of Guy's Blessing, but he's going to get the defense grid.
Oh, sorry, guys.
We switched places. I get the top spot now. Ha, take that. So, Oath of Druids is triggering. Cognivore is coming into play. How big is this guy?
It's over 9,000.
Yeah. What card best represents that? This was my pick. That's over 9,000.
I'm waiting for it. Hold on.
Is that 8? I think it's an 8.
8. Gleemax. Nice. I love the flavor text on Gleemax.
Can we put Gleemax in the? Actually, this would break Premodern. I was thinking just because of Erratic Explosion, but I think with Tinker this card is probably a problem.
It's fine. Free hashtag free Gleemax.
Yeah. Do you think anyone? How many people do you think have put Dark Confidant in a deck with Gleemax?
That's a good question.
It's got to be a
How would that happen?
Like just casual Magic.
Yeah, well, I guess if you don't really know like the way that the sets work and you just decided to play it for fun.
It's just, well, I think part of it is the idea that you could flip over Gleemax and lose 1,000,000 life. I think that
You could booster tutor for Ravnica, get a Dark Confidant, then play it, and then flip Gleemax.
Yeah. There could be cubes, I think, that could have both of those cards. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm guessing it's. I would bet a lot of money that it's a non-zero number. I mean, there's no way to verify it, but okay. So even from the spot, because it's kind of like you have an 8/8, you can't just attack with an 8/8 because then the 1/1 blocks it. So you're sitting here with this 8/8 that also at any time can be shrunk considerably because of Tormod's Crypt. Presumably, I mean, there could be like a Cunning Wish Stifle, or I mean, I guess there are 2 main deck Stifles in one of the sideboards, so it's not unlikely that Mike just has a Stifle in hand. Yeah, Gleemax and Erratic Explosion I felt was like the innocent interaction between these, but if we're pre-modern. Pernicious to you right there.
You spend all that mana, you're just like...
Well, that would be funny because it's like that is a way to get around. You're not choosing a target, so it's a way like if your opponent had Gleemax in play that you still would be able to if you had like an infinite mana combo.
Yep.
Okay, back to this game. Are we casting
Scroll Rack?
Scroll Rack. Andrew's running out of room on his playmats. The enchantments are stacking on top of it. The artifacts are stacking on top of each other. So we are tapping. We're getting a Cunning Wish.
Does he have an annul on the board?
He has Divert, Intervene. Oh, so in response, it looks like he's activating Tormod's Crypt, and Stifle is coming.
Oh, he just has the Stifle in his hand.
Yeah, I think so.
So he's exiling the Wish, and he's gonna get
Shadow Rift?
Shadow Rift.
Okay. So, did you ever see the movie Homeward Bound?
Homeward, yeah.
So, one of the characters, if you guys don't know the movie, it's about 2 dogs and a cat that are part of a family, and they get like lost or separated from the family, and then they're trying to get home. But one of the scenes, one of the dogs' name is Shadow, and then the other dog goes, Shadow, 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 because he's really excited to see him. So whenever I hear like Shadow and Magic, I just instantly think of that scene from that movie. So
when I see the card, I think, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. You know what that's from?
Is it? I'm assuming it's flavor text from something, but I don't know.
It's from the movie The Shadow.
Oh.
At least what is probably a terrible remake with Alec Baldwin. It's older now, but
Okay.
I saw it when I was a kid. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. I'm guessing it doesn't hold up. So there's a Shadow Rift.
Have you ever played Feral Shadow?
I played Farrell's Mantle.
Well, this was one of the cards. There was like the trio cards that would get Spirit of the Night.
Oh, the Spirit Knight. I have. Yeah, yes, I have.
And Feral Shadow is one of them, right? I think.
Yes.
I don't remember the one that has
It's like
the ability.
2/1 flyer for 3 or whatever.
Yeah. I can't remember. One of them has an ability. Cognivore is an 11/11. So, Moment's Peace. Is that getting cast or is?
Looks like it's getting cast.
But the creatures aren't tapped. Oh, so this is in response to the Shadow Rift. Just because I guess that makes sense because he might be drawing into another counterspell. Do you fight over this? I don't think you do.
Andrew can't flash it back, can he?
Oh. No, not this turn. But you're not dealing lethal damage. You would be
Well,
dealing
the Moment's
12.
Peace is going to go to the graveyard,
Yeah,
and the
it'd be
Shadow
12.
Rift is going to go to the graveyard.
12, 13.
But he's still short.
Yeah. Oh, there's... Oh, no, I was going to say... There's still a Mishra's Factory, but there's the Spirit Token, so...
If Mike counters it, then another instant goes to the graveyard, so he just needs one more instant. So wait, so Andrew's at 15. The Cognivore is how big right now?
11. This was before both of these instants, so now it's a 13,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, so if you had the counter in another instant, then I think you do fight over it, but it doesn't matter now.
But Moment's Peace isn't that great here because I guess the Shadow Rift is like it no longer has Shadow. So I guess the Spirit Token can block. But it's not like Mike's just cold in this situation. All he's got to do is he's going to make a lethal Cognivore and then get rid of the token and counter the Moment's Peace. I guess that is a few things he needs to do. Oh, Mike's at 12, it looks like. But, I guess I was going to say Mike's Sylvan Library is gone. I was going to say this could be a spot where he would aggressively Sylvan Library, but the Seal of Cleansing took that out a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
That Spirit Token, the silhouette just looks like Yoda.
It kind of does.
I can't
Agree. That's kind of what I thought as well. So no land tax here because they're both 7 lands. Despite that island being buried in dice and counters, it's still on the battlefield.
That Back to Basics has. I'm surprised that how many islands are in Mike's deck?
I don't have it up in front of me. Mike takes a point here, goes down to 11. Is that another Cunning Wish?
Yes. So he could get swords. Okay.
So Andrew just upkeep, flashback Moment's Peace.
Well, you make him swords first, right? Because if you did it before he cast the swords, then
he just waits.
Yeah. Is swords the right card to get? Is Rushing River better, or? I mean, I guess it's only 1 mana, so. Okay, so Mike goes to 10, Andrew goes to 16, but our Cognivore, it looks like a 13. Okay, and a Mishra's Factory is getting activated.
And he still has enough blue to forbid our counterspell here.
Okay. So I think this is lethal as it stands. Well, also just casting the Moment's Peace exiles the instant from the graveyard. But forbid would put another one in, right?
Yeah.
So he's taking 2.
There it is. And he could buy it back and discard if he has other instants in his hand, but he may not.
He had to take 2 for that. Yeah. Okay.
I think Andrew may have a second Moment's Peace.
Ah.
Yep.
Indeed.
I thought he might be sandbagging one.
So how does this change things? Okay, so if Andrew pretty much needs to flip either Iridescent Angel or a Phantom Neshoba with a Dragon's Breath.
With Dragon Breath, yep. All right, here we go.
I mean, he still can flashback a Moment's Peace.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess even if he doesn't have a hasty Phantom Neshoba, he still might be able to get an attack in. Also, Gaia's Blessing might shrink the. Oh, yeah. Also, Gaia's Blessing might
There's the breath.
might shuffle away that Moment's Peace that's in the graveyard right now.
Watch, it's gonna be Iridescent Angel now. Is it the Big Bad Beast? It is the Big Bad Beast.
Was there Gaia's Blessing? That's probably the more important part, right?
I don't
think so.
I saw one.
But there was a Dragon's Breath.
But Mike's at
8. Does Andrew have another colored source? Like if he just has Gemstone Mine, did he ever get a mountain with land tax? 1, 2. It's 7 to 7. No, Andrew has more than 7. Because if he just has a mountain here, he wins, right?
Or I don't know, Undiscovered Paradise.
Or a Lotus Petal, and he has Scroll Rack, so you think he'd be able to find one of those cards, right? I think Andrew is, probably a favorite to win right here, but it could be wrong. Yeah, this has been an interesting game. It's been really interesting in terms of like what points they choose to fight, and I think like there are a lot of decision trees that could have happened from this match in terms of like, should you have waited 5 more turns to quote unquote go off or like go for it, from especially from like Mike's perspective because he has so much counterspell stuff. That's a Zurin orb.
Oh,
So
it's pretty good.
I mean, it's worse than Mountain.
Yeah, yep, you are correct. So
How many?
he's gonna rack here, right? Or
Oh, he hasn't racked it. Yeah.
he's gonna blessing first, I guess.
Uh,
Robin says gain 14. That is an option.
it's funny if he had that Zurin orb in play. Well, then he just would have been able to land tax for the Mountain. But okay, so this guy's blessing is putting 2 crypts. How many cards are in his hand? I guess it doesn't seem like that many. Would you have played the Zurin orb? Or
I think he wants to tax because he's got the rack. So sacking that island that's not doing anything is a pretty good play.
I'd say how many outs does he have? Do you think, how many red sources do you think he has?
Probably just one mountain.
Well, he has Gemstone Mine and Undiscovered Paradise and Lotus Petal, right?
Yeah. I think he runs the Mount Fuji mountain as well. I
Yeah.
think it's just the one.
And I think there are some number of wooded foothills. Like there might be one. I'm just trying to think how many outs is if he's just trying to kill Mike this turn, and like going for the highest scroll rack he can.
Second blessing.
Wait, is this the second blessing? Because
Yes, he's gonna shuffle in the first blessing.
well, there were still Tormod's crypts. How many Tormod's crypts have been milled? I thought he.
Yeah, I thought he shuffled those in as well. What did we miss?
I think he just backed up
Okay.
because these seem like the same cards. But how many mana does he have tapped?
Oh, it's just the
He has at least 3. I think it's 4.
three,
I think it's 2 forests, 2 plains have been tapped. So that looks like 2 guys blessings then. I think this might have been his second one. Did Andrew know the top cards of his library? Had he scroll racked? I don't think so. I think because he just oathed.
Yeah, he just oathed.
So I guess, do we know if the Mountain's in the graveyard?
I don't know. I think we
I-
saw it in the first game get. Oh, actually, I think he discarded it to hand size maybe early on from a land tax.
Okay.
I think he did discard it.
So the number of those outs in terms of going for it this turn are reduced if you don't have the Mountain in the deck. It seems like he only has 2 cards. This would be the best if he just has like a Lotus Petal this whole time.
He's just been slow rolling us all.
Yeah. No. All right.
All right.
No Mountain. No Mountain. Oh.
Wait. Thinking. Tapping.
What are we tapping white for?
That is a great question. Mike goes to 1 and Andrew goes up to 23.
Yeah. What did that white mana get tapped for? Scroll rack activation.
Got it.
Okay, and I think Cognivore is a 17 power monster. Rawr.
Oh, is that all?
That's large.
I've seen bigger.
So I mean, so now what? How well equipped is Mike's deck to deal with a resolved creature? I mean, because he could just leave the Cognivore back. He could attack for 17 plus 4 is 21. But no, he can't do like lethal damage because of Zuran Orb. There's no way he's gonna be able to do that. So he's okay. So he's chunking in with the Cognivore. So he's attacking for 21 if I'm calculating right.
So I'm just gonna go to 2.
Wait.
And I think he's just scooping him up because Andrew's gonna trample in and win. Weird. Why attack?
I don't know. Right, so, I mean, Mike looked like Mike conceded, right?
Yeah, it looks like it. Let's all right, let's do unmute.
All right.
That's a fun matchup, isn't it?
Hey guys, I don't know if you can hear me. We have you unmuted. Hi.
Yep.
Yeah, we
can
got you.
hear you.
Hey,
Those-
Mike, hey, Andrew.
That matchup
It's a
is
fun match,
wild.
isn't it?
Yeah, I was say there are a lot of things that go on in that match.
Yeah.
So that seems like a very difficult matchup to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Then-
extremely hard, and we've played it many times
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we only have to count instance like every other like pass priority count.
Yeah.
Pass priority
Yep.
count.
so my big error was in game 1 when I cunning wished. I was thinking that I was going to get intervene because I was thinking he had worthy cause and that was like his out. So then he'd sack his creature and gain the life because I was thinking it targeted it.
Okay.
And then I asked him after I had already cast the cunning wish, like how worthy cause is worded.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, that's no longer a good plan, but I've already played it, so I guess I'll get the Shadow Rifts, but like,
Okay.
it was definitely, it felt like a pretty bad punt.
Because we were
Because
thinking.
otherwise I save it and then I have the rest of my toolbox.
I was thinking if you could stifle there, you could stifle the gain life trigger from the Phantom Nishoba. And then might have enough damage the next turn to attack for lethal.
Mhm.
Or you could get Russian River and bounce both Nishobas.
But this was before both Nishoba, but I should have known that another Nishoba
Yeah,
was
it was
coming
on the
out.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other crazy thing
The first
about,
Nishoba called for backup.
yeah, about not just being a crazy oath on oath matchup, but being a wish deck. It's like there's so many
Yeah.
lines of play, and like I'm sitting here on camera, like I can't think through everything
Sure.
that could possibly happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Does
stuff that
that
you could have done.
compute?
Yeah.
It's way easier from our point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my other big error was I had accounted for forbidding in order to drop my 2 instance, but then remembered as I cast it, like then the forbid won't be in the yard.
Sure. Yeah. That's what I figured. Like right at the end when you were one off, it's like, oh, because that.
It's like,
Yeah, that would have been really cool. But yeah, it's unfortunate that it's not like a
can you choose
May
not
ability.
to buy
Yeah.
back?
Yeah. Like still discard the cards, but
Yeah.
you may return this card to your hand or something. Yeah. But yeah, that was crazy.
It's definitely a Christmas story. It's like, oh fuck.
Uh-huh.
You did it. Your
Yeah.
face, I couldn't see your face, but your hands were like, oh. What did I
Yeah.
just do?
Well, I out loud said, and I counted
Uh,
correctly.
I know when Andrew at that last game when he had Phantom Nishoba and play with the Dragon's Breath, and it was one short, we were just like, All right, how many different red sources does he have in his deck that he just like might be able to get? But I don't even think you had that many cards in your hand that you could like dump a bunch into Scroll Rack to either get like Lotus Petal, Undiscovered Paradise.
I had one petal left in the deck, so there was like
okay. And
Yeah,
and a
there's a
mountain was in the
chance.
graveyard, right? I think you had discarded it earlier.
Yeah, I probably should have went. Well, I don't know. Maybe the second time go for petal, something instant. I went for one petal, so there was actually two petals then left that I could have potentially hit.
You didn't have that many cards in your hand, so I don't think it's necessarily worth.
Down to probably like
I'm talking about like scroll racking instead
Yeah.
of like Guy's Blessing
No,
or something.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
No, yeah. It was two cards. It was like, and I knew what the first time I knew what the two cards were because of Sylvan.
Okay.
So I was like, get rid of those.
So I was sitting there thinking like I still had a chance at this, like even with his attack in, and then I realized that I can't cast colored mana anymore because I had a swords in hand. So I was actually thinking about swordsing my own Cognivore. I mean, I was tapped out, so
Can you
couldn't anyway that turn.
with City
but I
of
was thinking
Brass?
about like holding it back a turn.
Can you resolve a swords with before the City of Brass
tap
trigger,
it, put the damage,
and then respond to the
I
trigger?
should have asked that then.
Yeah, you could do it with that one. Yeah, with City
I
of
thought
Brass.
for sure that I thought it was part of the cost.
No, it's because it says whenever it
Yeah.
becomes tapped.
Yeah, it's not part of the activation cost. You tap it, and then it's a trigger whenever it becomes tapped. Just like if you were to tap it with an Icy Manipulator.
Yeah, that still
Gotcha.
does it. But the pain lands,
All right,
yes,
so
the
you
pain
wanna
lands.
put the board state back together
Yeah,
and try to figure out.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
One page below your two man lands.
Because I would have been gaining 17 off of it, so.
Yeah. Well, I had Pablo's Web coming at some point.
Well, yeah, I mean, that wouldn't have really mattered. All right, well, good to know for next time.
Yeah.
Andrew,
The funny thing about like every time we play this match is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
go ahead, finish. You can finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
The funny thing about every time we play this match is we learn a ton about it, but so many situations that are completely useless in most pre-modern matches. Like things that never come up.
Yeah, the overlap is
Andrew. Versus Harris. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that one choke, Andrew.
So I brought in.
I was just joking that one choke that you kept untapping that island.
I kept untapping the island?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I finally.
Yeah.
Bad island.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, choke's actually not that good against me. I only have 4 islands.
Oh, okay.
But because I was taking so much pain, it turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And also, it held me back a turn when if I had been ahead, I could have done the Cunning Wish for Funeral Pyre a turn earlier. It definitely did do something. I don't know how necessarily much it would have impacted the game, but it's interesting.
You also had to play into land tax at that point too, I think, because you were a little low on mana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how'd you guys board?
What did I put in?
So I brought in 2 of the 3 Funeral Pyres because you always want one Wishable and Null Rod.
Okay.
For that pesky Zurin Orb.
Well, format script and stuff. The main deck, you knew what it was, but there was all the side stuff I was gonna bring.
Yeah, and I took out 2 Oaths and a Merchant Scroll because I figured he'd play the Oaths.
Sure.
Which he did.
Yeah. Defense good for sure, because it doesn't hurt too much. For land stuff, I put in Choke, I put in Saba's Web, I put in Back to Basics because I knew that would lock down. That would leave you 3 lands that couldn't tap.
Yeah, Saba's Web is definitely good against me.
The 2 Crypts and then an Iridescent Angel was one of my target options. So
yeah,
endlessly blocked, can't be swords. I'll just leave it in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, those games were fun. They were
Our
really
matches are always
interesting. So
epic.
Yeah, I always worry in the slow ones if it's boring for the audience, but
that's
hopefully it
not
wasn't
for
too
you to worry about. That's for us to worry about.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
That's when our job comes into play. Is we gotta fill the time. So we sidetracked a couple times, but
amp up the
Yeah.
commentary.
yeah. So yeah.
I'm right where I want it to be. I'm 2-2-2.
Yeah, like I said, there's definitely times when you're like, I can't take the time to think out the correct line of
Sure.
play here, so I'm just gonna go with my gut.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's gonna happen in certain situations. Yeah.
Oh, Flint, for your question, Rangaroa is the second biggest atoll in the Pacific. It's like 100 miles north of Tahiti.
Okay. Cool. Very
That was a
cool.
ton of fun. Second part was
Yeah.
cool too. The dive master was the camera guy for Jean Michel Cousteau's son.
Huh.
That was like tons of fun. It
For
was
a
just
marine
rocking through the
biologist
lobby.
especially.
Yeah. Well, I'm off duty right now. But yeah, that was a blast. I dove with like 12 or 13 species of shark. Wife won't let me go with great whites though. It's like,
Very nice.
All right, so I'm guessing y'all want to wrap it up, but we probably went way over.
That's fine. But I mean, if you guys have anything else that you wanted to talk about, we can for a little bit.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Not really. Like I said, it's just a crazy matchup.
yeah. It's a
And
different deck than we played before because you turned it more into a cunning wish thing, and God, that's I never knew. I had to keep looking over to see what the sideboard had that you could be bringing out because it was like, what toolbox could he have? Like I was not expecting like, oh, misdirect, great.
yeah,
That was really
I
excited.
definitely think it's the way to go with a Cognivore Oath
Yeah.
deck. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying I was really excited when that first funeral pyre got misdirection. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's usually the best play with the Cunning Wish.
Boom.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend Cunning Wish with the Cognivore Oath deck. But I do not think that this is the correctly tuned version. I think there's a lot of changes I would make just playing in the tournament,
Okay.
just 2 matches. And it's probably one of those decks that if someone out there wants to pick up, like you have the time, you could put in and make it like a really amazing deck. But my God, is it a steep learning curve?
Was the list that you got like based off like something that had posted a result, or did you just kind of build it from scratch, like based off of like older PT decks?
A little bit both actually. So I kind of thought of it on my own, like not realizing that it was a deck because I was just thinking like Oath drops things in the yard, what creatures that get big from the yard, what Lurgoyf type creatures could work with it. And so then once I did look that up, I saw that there have been a couple of pre-modern results with it.
Mhm.
And there was a PT deck by Justin Gary way back in the day. But I had already had a brew in mind when I looked it up, and I kind of stuck to the brew that I did, but also took ideas from them. I saw a very interesting one with Standstill, where it's kind of like half Landstill deck, half Oath. So I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it or not, but it looked cool.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
The questions for Judge were a little bit harder than like what's your favorite color. You have to say what's your most favorite color too. Nowadays it's like REL questions. Back when I took it, it was the main question I remember was if you have a Sangir vampire with first strike. It's like, okay, somebody lanced it. Okay.
I remember you talking
How
about.
many
Yeah.
Megapegacide does it take to kill it?
That's actually that's kind of a difficult question actually. So.
It is a. Yeah, you have to really sit and think about it. But those
There's
were the kind of
levels.
things. Then now it's like, if this event happens at REL, blah blah. What's the procedure? It's like,
All right, cool. Well,
Cool.
I think
thanks to you
that'll.
guys. Always a blast coming on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, guys. Thank you.
For
Good
sure.
games.
Great games, Andrew, as always.
As always.
All right.
We're always right at that 49-51 kind of.
All right, later, guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.
All right. We will just
Hi guys.
have a good one. Jump over here. I don't think I really have anything to add. I guess I'll mention the Fall Brawl has started, and so if any of you guys are playing and you want to have some of your matches with commentary on it, record your match, either if you have a premium Whereby account or if you can do it through OBS or something. If you get it some file to me, my friend and I are planning on doing those recordings and kind of doing commentary over these matches, and then we were going to post it to my YouTube channel after the Swiss rounds were done. So your deck won't be revealed, but if you have interested in that and have any questions, if you're like not sure how to do that and want to ask me, just reach out to me in some form on Facebook or something, and I can try and help you. It's really not that difficult, especially if you don't need to do like any layouts or anything. Did you want to add anything, Flint?
No, I mean, I think I would just echo the same things I always echo. Just be sure to check out our friends of the show and, stay tuned for some coverage from the Fall Brawl. And if you've been watching the Gauntlet series that Michael and I do, Michael just posted the finals from the second Gauntlet series. So be sure to check. I won't say which decks we're playing in case you're just starting from the beginning, but be sure to check that out as well. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and looking forward to Wednesday.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Take care, and we will see you Wednesday.